Hello, my name is Minnie.
And my name is Ellie, and today we have a very special guest called Tim Appleton.
Tim is very experienced with birds and has been working with them since he was very young. He's now living in a small town in England called Appleton.
Today we have some very interesting questions to ask Tim. Hope you enjoy the interview.
Hello, well my name's Tim Appleton. I'm known to Minnie Berry because I'm her grandpa. All over the world I'm interested in nature and conservation. And I hope these few minutes now answering some of your questions that you sent us from the Denver School will make you more aware what a wonderful place we all live in and how we can share our wildlife. So come on, Minnie, what was that first question?
How can we make our school a better place for birds and wildlife?
To make your school a better place for wildlife and birds, then you've got to really think about what the school could offer. Do you have some spare land? Could you place some bird boxes or perhaps plant some nice plants that attract wildlife and birds? I think one of the first things you need to do is probably start up a wildlife club. And this could involve children from the school from all ages and develop a lovely area that people care about. As I said, it could be planting trees, shrubs, putting up food for birds. There's all sorts of wonderful things you can do. But you need to get together to do this. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity. And maybe one day you can come across the school and open your wonderful wildlife garden.
Should we keep wild birds as pets at home?
I really actually love this question because should we keep wild birds as pets at home? Well, my first answer is definitely no, we shouldn't, because those birds have been taken often illegally from the wild, where they live and they want to be with their friends and they want to sing and they want to be natural. It's like you. Would you like to be taken away and put in a cage? None of you would want that, I know that. So how do you get around this? How do you understand about the capturing of wild birds? And I think really this would come as the club grows. If you are able to start this wildlife club up, you need to look at what's happening. And particularly all over Asia, there's a huge amount of illegal killing and of capturing birds. So don't necessarily feel necessary to keep birds. Go and enjoy them. Put something maybe in your garden that would attract the wild birds, and you can enjoy those as they sing and enjoy your garden environment.
How did you come to like birds, and what is your favourite bird?
People often ask me this question, how did you come to like birds? And what is my favourite bird? Well, I suppose I was actually the same sort of age as many of you watching this little film. I was probably about 10 or 11, 12, something like that, but I'd always loved being out in the garden enjoying nature, not enjoying the wild things. And when I saw a few birds and I identified them, I thought, oh, I wonder where they live and what do they do? And so I learned more and more. I got little books and things like that. And once upon a time in England, there was a book called I Spy Birds, and I used to tick them off as I saw them. But then, obviously, I got an opportunity to continue all my life working with wildlife. And then I thought to myself, now what is my favourite bird? And I thought very hard, and I worked at a very special place that had lots of ducks. And the duck I really loved more than anything was this bird called a shoveler. Can you see the size of its bill? Can you see how big that is? And it spends its feeding time going like that, all through the water, up and down, but often going round and round in circles. And sometimes I think I go round and round in circles. Perhaps I'm as crazy as those shovelers.
How did you meet David Attenborough, the famous wildlife naturalist?
I'm very lucky because I know Sir David Attenborough. Sir David Attenborough is probably the most famous naturalist in the world at the moment. He's often on television and he's so enthusiastic about birds and wildlife and of course looking after our planet. I got to meet him many years ago because he was the patron of the local society that I belong to. So I was very excited, and over the years I've got to know him so well that in fact very recently he sent me this wonderful book that he's involved in called Wild Isles, and if you read that very carefully you'll see he says, "For Tim, with best wishes, David Attenborough." So what a thrill it is to receive something like that from such a famous man, and he is 97 now and still going strong. And I hope when I'm 97, I can still go strong as well. And I'll be so excited when I come to see you all at your school again in the future. I may not be bringing to David Attenborough, but I'll try to come myself.
Do you think zoos are good or bad?
Now, are zoos good or are zoos bad? It's a very good question, Minnie and everyone. Generally speaking, sadly, I think zoos are often very bad, and they give a very bad picture for those zoos that are very, very good. Now, lots of animals in our environment have been saved from extinction. That means from dying out, because they've been bred in captivity in zoos and then released. But some zoos treat them almost as if they're some sort of creature that just is looked at, and people throw them food and do all sorts of crazy things. And it's very sad to see often an animal on its own doesn't even have a mate. It doesn't have a friend. And sometimes you see them walking up and down the front of the cage. They're completely lost on their own. So yes, there are some good things about zoos, but generally speaking, some of the zoos, I'm afraid, are not good. And I'm sure if you go to your local zoo, just have a look at them very carefully. See what their message is. If the message is we're doing something really positive for wildlife and the environment, then support them. But if it's a zoo where an animal, as I say, really feels caged, it's on concrete, not even on natural environment, because some zoos have brilliant areas. And in England, we have safari parks that are very, very big, and the animals can roam wild, and you can drive through the zoo, for want of a better word, and you can really get an experience. And sometimes a zoo can actually trigger what I call a spark moment, when somebody goes along and sees an animal and thinks, oh, I'd love to know more about the tigers or the chimpanzees or the gorillas. And they come away and they learn more about it, which I hope you guys will do at school. I can't wait to hear how well the school is doing for the environment. So good luck, everybody. Thank you, everybody who put these questions together. And I just hope that today I've tried to inspire you a little bit more to love the wildlife, particularly in Bangkok and in Thailand. So thanks again.
That brings us to the end of our interview, and we would like to thank Tim for his time.
We hope you learnt loads of new interesting facts and had fun. Bye bye!